Not a derogatory term. I've never been oppressed. Like, am I supposed to feel like I'm experiencing racism? Because I don't.
How's it going, people, and welcome back again on the channel. How are you doing today? I hope you guys are doing very fine. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, and thank you so much for clicking, and make sure you support by smashing the subscribe button as well. In today's video, we are going to be talking about this Asian lady who decided to be a mouthpiece for white people because of a video a black lady did. This black lady made a video talking about how she doesn't like white people, how she does not trust white people, and in that process called white people a certain name that seems not to sit well with this Asian lady. This Asian lady decided to take it upon herself to be a spokesperson for the white community and decided to generalize the entire black community and start calling them names and how they wear so much pride on their sleeves, acting like they are the only one who went through slavery. Let me roll the clip that started this entire conversation because the original clip has been deleted from this creator's account, but I was able to get the clip from other duets. So let me just roll the clip so that we all can see the genesis of this whole conversation.
And I feel bad for y'all. Not that bad though, because your ancestors suck and you're stinky and evil. Anyways, for all the bleach demons willing to learn.
Bleach demons?
Yeah. You're not as bad as the rest.
It's really surprising to me that she cannot hear the blatant racism in her own voice. Like, bleach demons? Really? Do you have a word for Asians as well? Do you have a word for black people as well? Because I'm tired of black people using the race card all the time and then be like, yeah, your ancestors enslaved mine hundreds of years ago. You're demons. And you know what? Newsflash, every culture kept slaves. The Chinese kept slaves, the Greek kept slaves, Native American kept slaves. And you know what the best part is? Native Africans kept slaves. They participated in the transatlantic slave trade by selling prisoners of war to Europeans. Nobody needs to be apologetic towards you. Get off your high horse. Also, white people, you need to step up. Stop self-deprecating because of your ancestors' sins. Stop apologizing for something that you didn't do.
That was this Asian lady's response to the video that black lady did, and you guys noticed how she generalized everything. So she said black people need to get off of the high horse. Nobody has to be apologetic towards you. You guys have to stop making everything about race. In this context, we can agree to the fact that she's literally, in quote, talking to black Americans, and you saying or starting whatever statement saying that they need to stop making everything about race when these people live, breed, grow up in a system that makes everything about race is very, very funny. Unless she has not been in the media, we have seen people being denied access to a certain place just because of their skin color. We have seen people being pushed out of a neighborhood just because of their skin color. So if you feel that black people are the one making everything about race, or you feel like the black Americans are the one making everything about race, then there are still a lot of sit-ins that this lady has to have just to have a full understanding of why it is like that. She was talking about how they need to stop apologizing for the things that they did not do. They need to stop self-deprecating because they are not the one responsible for it. It is the sins of their ancestors. But the system still favors them. There was a video that I came across about a few days ago of a lady who said, I think she was interviewed by a black guy, and the black guy asked this white lady, which other race would you love to be? She did not even mention the race. She just immediately said, we are the superior one. If you think the system is not based on race, why do you think she's making such statements? One of the reasons why I love this particular video is the fact that it has sparked a lot of conversation from different angles. There are white people who are pissed about the statement that this black lady made. There are white people who are in support and even calling her out for trying to make white people feel like they are the victims when they are not. You know, there are Asian community being pissed at the Asian lady that nobody sent you because this is a black people's business. This is a black community issue. There is no way that you feel as an Asian person you have a say in this entire thing. You know, there are so many opinions. There are different opinions on this particular topic, but there are few people who, you know, said some few things on this topic that I need you guys to see because I feel like there are some good points that they make in their stitches. So let me roll the clip and let's see what these people are saying about their video.
Why are the black people using the race card all the time? And
we're sitting here trying to compare all these slave situations. Oh, we all had slaves when no other race endured chattel slavery. Chattel slavery was a monster unto itself that other races did not experience, including your own, babes. So I'm not really sure why you're trying to sit here and talk about the Black experience of slavery when, number one, you could never have experienced it, and number two, your people didn't experience anything remotely similar to it, nor did anybody else's peoples. No other race of people were dragged off of the continent that they were born on to be forced into servitude in another continent, and then on top of that, be forced to breed generation after generation after generation of slaves for people who treated them like less than animals. And we're sitting here trying to pretend that all slavery was the same slavery. No, the fuck it was not. So stop doing that. Also, the fact that you're trying to give European Americans a pass to forget about what has happened in the past and to absolve them of any complicity in the system that they benefit from is crazy to me. Because no, the fuck you're not about to do that. If you are not actively working to dismantle the systems that oppress other people so that you benefit from them, then you are complicit in the stuff that happens to other people. If you're not out there fighting the good fight to get them the same fucking rights that you have, you are actively complicit in a system that is oppressing them. And don't sit here and tell me, oh, everybody has the same rights. No, the fuck they do not. If everybody had the same rights in this country, they wouldn't have had to pass the Crown Act so that Black people wouldn't be fired for wearing their natural hair in the workplace. The fact that laws like that still have to be written into our justice system means that we are not, in fact, all treated equally. Black people are treated the worst in this country and in most countries because racism is still very, very much a thing. Nice try, though, there.
Because I'm tired of Black people using the race card all.
And I'm tired of seeing the same people who benefited from our fight for civil rights using those freedoms to pursue white validation. But I'm going to focus on something else here, y'all. Instead of me reading her the way that I normally would, I'm going to break her down for y'all and give you a lesson in White Adjacency 101 because she's a prime example. So first and foremost, keep in mind that this is an Asian woman, and don't think she didn't factor that in when she said what she said. She knows that we can't push back and say that she doesn't know marginalization or she doesn't know what it's like to be mistreated by white people because historically speaking, the Asian community does. But she's allowing herself to be a spokesperson, if you will, for white supremacy because that allows her to maintain her position within it, which is white adjacency, because there's power there. But the reason she can disconnect herself from her history in a way that we can't is because her present looks very different. Black people are still actively fighting the same history, which is why we have to keep it in the forefront of our minds. We can't allow ourselves to stop being diligent because history is constantly trying to repeat itself. But in her community, things have advanced to a place where she can feel audacious, clearly. If you think about it, that's probably true because when there's an influx of crime in the Asian community, what do? Stop Asian hate bill immediately. And I'm not saying that that shouldn't have happened. It should. But we don't see that type of quick action when it's Black people. So she's coming from a place of privilege again, which stems from her white adjacency. And honestly, y'all, if you're paying attention, what she's doing is trying to conflate name calling with actual racism. Racism in this country is systemic, systems of oppression. They were built specifically to marginalize Black people and then included people like her. She's talking about that in comparison to name calling white people. And don't think that she really cares about white people's feelings because she doesn't. She's saying this to secure her position within white supremacy because she's learned from her pale skin that there's power in being white adjacent. That's what she's protecting. And she's also highlighting her disregard for anybody else's experiences and also her lack of empathy, which again, I believe stems from white supremacy. She has this sense of entitlement about her that makes her feel validated in trying to reprimand or chastise us in our behavior. She thinks that we should play nice with our oppressor because the oppressors are no longer oppressing her the way that they used to, even though they're still treating us the same way. And if you notice, because there's a lot of layers here, she still has no empathy as far as how we're treated in the past or in the present. If you think about somebody and their traumas, right? You know that, let's say that somebody has a fear of dogs because they've been mauled by a dog. We expect them to be scared of dogs, to hate dogs, to not want to be around them. We don't get that same grace extended to us, even though we've had some of the worst atrocities committed against us by white people. Yet she sits here conflating feelings with systems. All we can do is hurt white people's feelings, but they can weaponize their feelings against us and use the systems created to hurt us. They can call the police, weaponize their tears, and get us killed, get us fired. There's differences here, and that's what she's not saying. So y'all start paying attention to what's not being said because that's usually what speaks the most volumes.
for using the race card all the time.
Hi guys, so I want to talk about this video piece by piece, point by point. Before I get into it, I'm going to be referencing white adjacency a lot. If you don't know what white adjacency is, then I would encourage you to check out this creator's lovely response to Olivia. The first thing Olivia does is talk about the use of bleach demons, insinuating that it's some type of slur for white people. One thing that's important to remember about slurs across all demographics is that there is historical context and violence behind it, something that this term lacks. The next thing that Olivia does is try to censor herself in the argument, asking, do you have a word for Asians as well? Do you have a word for black people as well? There is a word for both demographics. One for black people is the N-word, which was created by white people. One created for Asian people is a CH word that was also created by white people, specifically whenever there was an influx of Chinese immigrants. So yes, there are words to dehumanize Asian people, but they weren't created by black people. She then brings up the next point, where she says that she's tired of black people using the race card because they were enslaved hundreds of years ago. Now, her use of hundreds of years ago is important. She's insinuating that racism stopped after slavery, as if we didn't get segregation, Jim Crow, police brutality, mass incarceration, gentrification, redlining, voter disenfranchisement. The list literally goes on. Next thing Olivia does is bring up the same old talking point that right-wing conservatives have. The idea that every culture had slaves. And I don't really understand this point because no one's arguing that every culture hasn't had slavery to some extent. I would just say that every single culture didn't have chattel slavery, nor did they have a racial caste system. Next thing Olivia does is bring up another right-wing conservative talking point. And I'm going to quote her now. And you know what the best part is? Native Africans kept slaves. They participated in the transatlantic slave trade. People bring this point up to say that, oh, well, even like black people were enslaving black people. But I think that people who bring this point up fail to realize that just because Africans have the same skin tone does not mean that they are all the same people. They are not a homogenous group. Not then and not now. This is where I get into Asian Americans having proximity to whiteness or adjacency to whiteness. Let me be clear that the only reason why the system of whiteness allows Asian Americans the benefits of white supremacy is because it is beneficial to the system of whiteness. It's called racial mascotting. You can get a demographic that was once heavily oppressed in the United States to say that racism doesn't exist. It makes other minorities look bad. Unfortunately, I think that Asian Americans who hold this view know that their ties to white supremacy are incredibly fragile. I think you could see this fragility whenever the COVID-19 virus was coined as the Chinese virus and Asian hate crimes went up. The difference is Joe Biden quickly signed the Stop Asian Hate bill, because it is again beneficial to keep Asian Americans on the side of the oppressor. Meanwhile, black people have gotten nothing like that. We never got reparations, and any time it's ever been brought up, it's been immediately shot down. You have to understand that just because you are no longer oppressed doesn't mean every other minority has that privilege. Let me be clear that whenever Asian Americans are no longer beneficial to the upholding of white supremacy, they will drop you too.
Totally agree to the thing that one of the stitches said, that she lacked empathy in the video that she made, because if you do not lack empathy, there is no point. You won't see a need to downplay slavery or compare both with a particular word of insult. Like, it's not the same. She felt so close to whiteness that she feels like she's in a place to tell black people how to feel about situation. She's talking about it like these people still don't go through the same thing till today. It has just been rebranded. We all know racism is still in existence till today. The only place that a black person can feel welcome is a place that is dominated by their own skin color. Every other place that a black person can visit, they are discriminated towards. So you saying they make everything about race, when literally every other thing is being built on race, is crazy. That is not a very valid point to make. And that statement to me just shows that she knows what she's doing. She feels the need to support white people because she can tell that she's the closest to them. These black people did not go to America on their own will. They were taken there against their will. Until today, they are still being discriminated towards. A lot of things still happen today just because of skin color. We have black women have the highest rate of mortality during childbirth. To date, a lot of their pain are being ignored just because of their skin color. A lot of them would think they are exaggerating this thing just because of their skin color. So they are basically living their life every single second, minute, hours in a system, in a country that bases the entire system on race. So you saying that they want to make everything about race, they are not even the one who started all this race thing. You have to talk to the people who started the race thing before you can say Black people should stop making everything about race. There was a particular response to this lady's video from a white lady that I literally 100% agree with, and I want you guys to see what this lady said, because she made a lot of sense and I can't just let this video go by. So sit down and let's check out this video together.
Ignore my appearance, but I keep seeing these videos on my For You page, and I don't know why you care more than I do. Like, white people will never be oppressed. I don't care what this girl says, bleach demons, blah, blah, blah. Okay, like, call me a bleach demon. And what is that? It's not a derogatory term. I've never been oppressed. Like, am I supposed to feel like I'm experiencing racism? Because I don't. Like, I want to say this in a way that doesn't make me sound like, oh, white people are the best race, we're superior. But, like, white people are on top. Like, systemically in the world today, like, we are on top. White privilege is so fucking real. Her calling me a bleach demon doesn't take away from that. So, like, am I supposed to sit here and cry? I don't care if you hate me. You are one person in this world. You calling me a bleach demon, thinking that I'm evil and stinky, isn't gonna get me denied a job in this life. Like, I am not experiencing racism. Can we stop this, like, narrative that, like, white people, like, stop, I don't care. And I feel like any white person that sits there and claims that they experience racism because of shit like this, like, you so badly just want to be oppressed. You so badly just want to say that you experience racism to, like, devalue what Black people go through. Like, they experience real racism. Let's focus on the real shit here. Like, why are we sitting here acting like white people are oppressed? We're not. Who cares if a select few group of people in this world hate us? It's prejudice. Like, and this girl in the video was like, white people, like, stop self-deprecating because of what your ancestors did, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not self-deprecating because of what my ancestors did. I'm understanding of the fact that there's white people in the world today who are still very racist and terrible people. So, like, yeah, I understand why you would assume that we're all like that, you know? Like, it makes sense. Like, you really can't get mad at these people. Like, they experience the real shit in this world. They're allowed to be angry. Just let them be angry. Like, some people take it over the top. I understand that. But why are you, like, bothered by it? Like, I don't care, so why do you care? And it's like, I have a good heart. I am a good person. I love everyone. I treat everyone equally. So why am I gonna sit here and feel offended by the shit that she's saying? If you feel offended, like, she's probably talking about you. I don't know. Oh my god. This topic just gets me so angry. Like, I'm seeing all these videos on my For You page, and I just don't get it.
I understand and love everything she said to the stitch of this video. Do you guys hear when she said she has never been oppressed? And calling her a bleach demon will not deny her a job because of the fact that they are on top of the system. In that same interview where I told you guys about the guy asking the white lady which other race you would love to be, and she replied immediately that they are the superior one, there was another lady who said, I have never been questioned about my skin color. Like, this is what these people are. This is the life that they live, a total different opposite life to the life of a Black person. I feel like if you have read so much about the African history, African American history, you've read so much about slavery and the heinous things that has been done to Black people, then you have a full understanding as to why Black people till date still needs to be angry. And not in why are you talking for them, why are you involving yourself? Like, why do you think as an Asian person you have to tell them to stop self-deprecating? Like, it's not making any sense. Like, somebody said that they will keep worshiping the ground that white people, you know, walk on until a point where something happened and they start coming online to call on help from Black communities and Black people. It's just not fair. It's just not a right statement to make, saying they should get off of their high horse when it was this call of their ancestors that was being used as a jack-o'-lantern. Sticks were put into the private parts of their women to abort babies. You know, some were being blindfolded to sleep with their mothers to, you know, for the fun and entertainment of white people. She didn't come into this video with a good intention, and I think that is the reason why she has deleted the video. The video is no longer on her page because a lot of people were coming for her. And this is not to say that calling somebody a bleach D is a good thing to say, but, you know, she just took everything to another direction, and I think this is the the reason why the whole focus was on her, because every single thing she said was BS. I don't think she's in a place to tell Black people how they feel, because they don't even go through 50% of what Black people are still going through in the world today. So, and why do you think you have to include yourself into the conversation? There were so many Asian people who were not happy with her as well, and just calling her out as to why do you have to be there? Let me know what you guys think. I am going to stop here, so let me know what you think. Let's continue this conversation there. What do you think about the Black lady calling, why people bleach D? Because I think I saw a video of Candace Owen, reacting to that video as well, saying it's not right, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. What do you think about that? What do you think about this Asian lady saying why people need to stop self-deprecating? What do you think about her saying Black people need to stop making everything about race? What do you think about her saying Black people need to get off of their, high horse because slavery was something that happened 100 years ago? The people who suffered from during the Jim Crow era till date are still alive. They still talk about it. They still share their experience. So are we supposed to cancel the trauma that these people go through because you as an Asian person cannot feel the pain of a Black person in the world that you live in today? I think she's doing too much for a person that Black people literally fought for them to be able to have a spot where they are in the United States today. Let me hear what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining. Please, if you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button and turn your bell notification on. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. And I love you guys.